guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are on the final path of Epoch of Pain. That is going to be path number 6, and you have to do it with either mutant champions or mystic champions. Remember to pick the right gate in the beginning, depending on if you're bringing a 6-star, you're bringing all 7-star champions. Now the first fight is going to be against Spiderham, which is a super easy fight. All you need to do is to build up to an SP3 and then throw it out when your turn the tide timer is at 3. How do you know about that timer? You will notice that there is a purple icon just underneath your health bar that gives you a specific number. That number corresponds to the special attack, so I've just used my special 3, and make sure that you have at least 3 debuffs on you. 4 will be amazing. You will return all the damage that was supposed to be done to you with the power sting. Now the best way to approach this fight is to use parry and 2-hit attacks. They work the best for me. You can also use parry and Abby, but he might evade, so just be careful about that. 2 SP2 should be enough to crack him out, so pretty straightforward fight. Now what champions you can use? There are quite a few different champions available. I would mostly tell you to use mutants here. I just brought in a Domino because she is my highest ranked mutant and she gets the job done, but some other champions that work really well can be your Dani Moonstar, can be your Iceman. You can also use Storm here. Deadpool X is also a good option. One mystic champion that I've personally tried is Werewolf by Night. To be honest, you can use any mystic champion as well. I know a lot of people will tell you not to, but as long as you stick to like a parry, 2-hit parry and 2-hit attacks, build to SP3, you should be fine. And just like that, Spiderham is out. Now the next fight is going to be against a Viv Vision. Now this fight is going to be annoying because it is going to be very restrictive in terms for you for gaining power. And she's going to have a lot of armors and she is nullifying you as well. And plus, if you are below 1 bar of power, her special ones are going to be unblockable. And if you push her to an SP2, you will take damage, like really sizable chunk of damage, unless you parry all the attacks in the SP2, which is actually, unless you're MSD or you're Nick 136, it's very difficult to do. So I brought in a Kushala here and I'm using that Soul Barb to my advantage. You can do, and you can bring in a Mortar here as well for the same thing. So yeah, this fight is going to get a little annoying and a little technical here because you will have to gain power, and the only time you're allowed to knock her down is when you have a special attack. When I say allowed, what I mean is whenever you will knock Viv Vision down, she is going to apply a timer on you, cross counter timer. If you do not throw a special attack within that timer is going to expire and give you 50% of your HP as damage, so that is very painful. So what I like to do, I only knock her down when I have a special attack ready, so in that way I don't have to worry about not having power. So right here I knocked her down, I have 2 bars of power. There we go, big Soul Barb, and that should do quite a bit of damage to Viv Vision. Now there are some of the options that can work well here. I would not suggest to bring in mutant champions, but you know that Onslaught is kind of an exception in all of this because Viv Vision is metal. You can use Kushala, you can use Werewolf by Night. I personally used him, he's my recent rank 4. You can also bring in Modo here and bring his Soul Barb into action. You can also use Arindra, Shatra, all of these champions can work. So the gameplay loop here is to just parry, use 4-hit combos, don't hit 5-hit combos, otherwise you will give him a mischance, and also evade his special attacks if you're not able to block, depending on what champion you're using. Kushala gives you an easy access to block, so for me she's a very important champion for this part. She will take some important fights. If you have a Kushala 7-star, make sure you bring her out. She's gonna take 3 of the most difficult fights on this path quite easily. You can also use Kushala against Spiderham. It will be a slower fight, but you will be able to get Spiderham down as well. So yeah, that's about it for this Viv Vision fight. Another thing, just be careful about the evade charge. When the evade charge is there, try to remove that by an attempted hit, so when you throw a special that does not come a problem for you, and rest should all fall into place. The difficult part here is to get enough power and only knock her down when there is a special attack ready on you, and also how to evade their specials. A simple KO is Dex. When she picks her legs up there, you use a Dex. So that's the best cue that I have. As soon as the third beam, she folds her leg, then you evade, and you are able to evade the beams perfectly fine. So here I am, almost a perfect fight, and I think I die here. There we go. But anyway, you get the gist how the fight is done. Let's move on to the next one. Now the next fight is going to be annoying. That is going to be an Annihilus. Like on his own, he's very rubbish. On top of that, you need specific counters for him. So the first things first, you need champions that have at least 3 or more buffs on him because of buffed up. Otherwise, he will not take damage. Secondly, whenever he throws a special attack, you have to parry the last hit. So the way I do this one, I just block the first 2 hits and I parry the last one. So you will notice right here, let's push him to an SP1. Let him throw that SP1 out. There, first 2 blocks, parry. Now right after this parry, you can go in and you can attack him. That's an opening, but I didn't have the timing down. That's why I was playing a little passive, but you can be aggressive here. After you block the last hit, you can go and attack Annihilus. Now, how do we deal with the unstoppables? As soon as you get an armor break or a stifle on you, you just dash back and activate the unstoppable. Better have the space on you before he is just, before he just takes you in a corner. That would be difficult to deal with. So I have a stifle on me. You will notice I just dexed right there and I activated the unstoppable. And the most important part is, once you get the right champion and you know how to dex a special one, the most important part is make sure that you do backdraft intercepts to Annihilus. That makes the fight super easy. Unless you have a mutant champion that can passively stun Annihilus, that is a different case. But if you don't, then the best way is to wait for him to dash into you and then swipe back, and then with light attack you are going to be able to intercept. So let's try it here. There we go. And I've used this over and over again and it looks perfectly fine here. I think I die here once on this fight, but eventually I get the hang of it. So here we are, made a mistake there. Look at that damage. There we go, backdraft intercept into a big SP2 with 13 prowesses. Look at that, so much damage. So this is the fight that you need to consider of bringing at least 4 to 5 revives. If you can take down 20% of health in one go, that would be amazing. Do not push Annihilus to SP2, that is like doom, you will die very quick. And yeah, just backdraft intercepts, parry the SP1s, and that should bring you quite easily 50% health down on Annihilus. Here I am back again with Storm. I'm going to repeat the same thing. Now, when we talk about options, what other options can we use for this fight? You will need champions that have easy access to buffs. Otherwise, it will be a bit difficult to deal with this. You will not be able to do any kind of damage. So, you are both of the Storms, they work really well. Dani Moonstar is another one that works. You can also use White Tiger because of her stacking Furies. That can work, and there's also class advantage. So all of that should work out really well. There's also Dragon Man. Use an SP3. So what works with Dragon Man is you use an SP3, you get those extra power gains, and then you can use 2 SP2s and then back to SP3 again. So all of that should work out really well against Annihilus. And the final one is going to be a Juggernaut. Now Juggernaut is a little difficult here. Unless you don't have Mystic Dispersion, don't use him, because what you need is to throw an SP3 out and then get the permanent unstoppable and then get to an SP2 as fast as possible. You can only get that while your MD is being fueled, and you can get to 2 bars of power. Otherwise it gets difficult to get through and get a cycle of SP3 and SP2 going. So those are all the options that can work really well. There are some other options as well. Anybody that can gain buffs and can deal with Annihilus, all the debuffs can work really well. But I would suggest stick to these options. They work really well, especially the White Tiger and both of these Storms. They make easy work of Annihilus, as long as you know that for the SP1, block the first 2 hits, parry the last one, and use backdraft intercepts to find your openings. And if you have an armor break on you, or you have the stifle debuff on you, just dash back twice very quick so you can remove the unstoppable. So when you do a backdraft intercept, that is not a problem, so you can get through this fight. I've taken quite a bit of time on explaining this fight, so I hope I've explained it right. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and the community will also help you out. Now next one is Moleman. This fight is just straight up annoying. Now with this fight, you're not gonna do, you can do 90% less damage to Moleman, but the only way you can do damage is whatever damage you deal to him during a special attack. So you will need a lot of damage over time. So all time that he takes through the animation is SP1 and SP2, there should be a damage over time that should be applied on him that can take him down with all the damage. But the problem is that he also has shrug offs, and those are 20 of those shrug off until he gets to frenzy, and only then he will let any debuff stick on him. So the first part of the job here is to make sure that we activate his frenzy. But remember, when he activates his frenzy, he hits really hard in the block, so you cannot block once you activate his frenzy. So how you are going to push him to specials? You have spite node, so you have to always activate his spite node, so he keeps getting to an SP1, and you can use it to your advantage. The specials are easy to evade, so that can help you out right there. So right now there's no bar of power. I am using a Kushala. I think she is one of the best options because of her blessing. Any block damage I take, that can be healed back straight away as long as I have the blue blessing up. So I would suggest you to bring Kushala. She will take some amazing fights. You can take 4 of the 6 fights on this whole path. I used her only for 3 fights, but she can take a lot more. So the way this works is you keep baiting the specials and you use a heavy attack at the end, activate the frenzy and give damage over time or to Moleman, and that damage over time within the special attack animation will be all converted and you will take extra damage. Now this is going to be a slow fight, but if you use somebody like an Iceman does amazing with his armor, ice armor. You can simply just push a Moleman to an SP3. You will not take damage, and it will be very quick to activate. It will be very quick to activate his frenzy. So that's going to help you out a lot. You can also use champions like Toad. Deadpool X-Force is going to work really well. You can also bring in White Tiger. She can work. Werewolf by Night should also be a good one with all of his prowesses, with all of his ruptures and big SP2. So he should also work. But remember that you are also going to be. There is also a node that takes away all the debuffs and the power when there is a cooldown done. So just be careful about that with Tranquility. So there is a fixed amount of time until which you can apply those debuffs. So right now frenzy is active. There is 2 incinerates. Now if I throw a heavy attack, you will see that he will lose a little more chunk of power. So yeah, it's just a back and forth, and it's all about the timing on this fight. Look at that damage I took on the block, but because I had that yellow blessing on me, I didn't have to worry about it, and I healed back up. So that is going to be a problem. And if that wasn't enough, there is also bubble shield node. So remember, after every 10 hits you block, the 11th hit from Moleman is going to be unblockable. So he's going to break your block and hit you. So just be careful about that. Keep an eye on that red shield, and that should help you out. As soon as you get to 10, remember the 11th is going to be unblockable. Although Kushala can block unblockable hits, but if you're using some other champions, just be wary about that, and you should be getting through. So far, I'm very happy with the fight. I've brought down 47% of Moleman. So if you are able to get 50% in one go, that is a good shot. 2 to 3 revives should be enough for this fight. And yeah, this is just about keep baiting his specials, keep applying your debuffs. The more debuffs you apply, the faster he's going to go in frenzy mode, and the faster you can go in frenzy mode, you can apply more debuffs to so they can stick, and those can do damage during the special attack animation because of hubris node. So yeah, I know it's an annoying fight, but has to be done. It's one of the more longer fights in the path, but if you bring in an Iceman, it's much more faster. So I hope this helps you out. I think I die here and I come back with another revive to bring him down. But Kushala is an MVP for part 6. If you have her, bring her out. She is going to do some amazing stuff. So here we are, the frenzy is active again, and I'm gonna try to apply those incinerates, but I think I fail here and I die. And yeah, so I'll leave you to it for this fight. Finish it up and let's move on to the next one. That is going to be against Dani Moonstar. Now you have to learn her SP2 evade because otherwise she is going to be annoying. This is my second attempt jumping onto her. The first time I took 50% of her down with just domino, just playing regular domino stuff. But you need to learn the SP2 evade. You learn the SP2 evade, the rest of the fight is super easy to deal with. So let's look at the next SP2 and I can give you the cues where you are. So basically what you do, you have to dex when she pulls the gun out of her backpack, and then the second dex is when he pushes, when he sits down on one knee. So there we go. Dex, dex. There you have it. So remember, the first one is the arrow. That is fine, you don't have to dex it. As soon as she tries to pull the gun out, you are going to dex that. And then when she puts her knee down, you have to dex it again. So dex, dex, dex. There it is. Once you get the hang of it, the fight becomes quite easy. Throw your SP special attacks and make sure that you use the striker well here. And you should be able to get this fight down in 2 or 3 revives. Again, it's all about knowing that SP2. Remember when to dex and you should be good. I do mess up sometimes quite a bit on the last arrow. I mess up the dex timing. But yeah, you should be able to get through it. She is power 1 locked, so she is not going to roll that SP1 if you're waiting for that. So you have to learn that. When there is prowess puncture, just stay back and you should be fine. Here is my striker to create a bit of distance with an SP2, and look at that damage with 3 bleeds. So last time, dex, 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 and we go back in and we bring down Dani Moonstar. It's easier said than done, but it's all about the SP2 timing. You get that right, you are able to bring her down. No matter what champion you use, from the Mystic class or the Mutant class, that is the mechanic of this fight. You will need to learn the SP2 dex. And finally, we are at the last fight of Epoch of Pain. That is going to be Tigra. This is going to be my second attempt. The first time I brought in Kushala. Kushala can easily solo this fight, so can Domino. The whole premise of this fight is if you stay nearby Tigra for more than 3 seconds, she will apply a neutralize on you. And every time a buff is neutralized, removed because of neutralize, you are going to take rupture damage. So all you need to do is to keep a space from Tigra. So the best way that works, shout out to Dreads, my guy. He told me on stream how to do this fight and that really helped me out. Is just parry and heavy. Every time you parry and heavy, you're gonna create this distance. It's gonna be less than 3 seconds. So for the whole fight, you're not going to get any neutralize on yourself, and you will just bypass one of the biggest mechanics of the game. So you notice I have neutralize on me, so I have to wait for it to run out. But remember that Tigra specials are going to be unblockable, and she is also going to root you. So you really need to know how to dex the special attacks. Now I am dexing a special attack here. I would suggest you don't push her to an SP2, because the SP2, you really need to understand Tigra, how to dex her specials, and for that you should be playing Tigra. Only then you know how you have to dex them. Otherwise, SP1 dex is super easy to deal with. Just parry and heavy and let her throw an SP1, and that's an easy 2-step dex. There you go. Whenever you have a special, throw that out as well. There's a big SP2 that should do some good damage. And yeah, that's about it for the whole of this fight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this series for Epoch of Pain. This is the first time for me that, apart from the Crucible, that I have done endgame content as soon as it is released. Got a bit delayed because of some real life stuff, but thank you for joining in. I really appreciate all the comments. Let's discuss down what are other strategies that you used, and I'll be continuing back with the Karina challenges. I know there are 3 to 4 videos pending there, so this month I'm going to take all my time after the monthly EQ to put up all of those pending videos. So I hope the Epoch of Pain helps, and make sure to check out the Aries boss video, and I will see you on the next crazy content. See you later, guys. Bye.